Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast.
This is Aaron.
Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord. I really thought about cutting you off as a joke, just because there's only two of us. And it would have been obvious that I knew you hadn't gone yet, but I didn't want to be that mean.
I would not.
Would you have been upset?
I might have gotten fake mad, but not really upset.
Yeah. Okay, good. Testing the best. Fake mad. Fake mad's fun. All right, here we go. Quick announcements. As always, links in the show notes. If you're hearing this, Show Me Showdown is probably currently happening. If not, and you're a Patreon member, sign up for Show Me. Do it. Currently, Infamous Studios is on a small hiatus while I get caught up on my backlog of orders, but it'll be back up soon. That is all of the announcements. And now's the moment where I tell Aaron that I meant to pull up the card spoiler or the card errata list earlier and forgot to do it until right now. And so this is not me pandering for time while I do that. Shit. Hey,
news.
While you continue to research the actual document. So last week we talked about the card Cull, but we forgot to talk about the actual errata that had happened. Well, sure. I forgot.
We didn't forget. We were intentionally waiting. You know what they say? Leave the audience wanting more. So we just don't.
So I don't think we need to go through any of the.
All right. Are you ready?
Changing the text to make the card do what we forum ruled it was going to do, even though that's not what we wrote it did.
Did the whole
right?
time. Hey, I mean, they did eventually follow through on this will be updated in a future errata, and then just wait 4 years.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want 4 years later. Okay, so let's just dive into this. I'm going to go through each card, and we'll just say, hey, this is just a wording cleanup, and move on. So first off is Cloning Banks. This is an actual errata. They changed it to say round up, correct?
I thought that was done a while ago.
On the tokens?
Yes.
When did they do
I
that?
Could also
You're saying this is an old change? I was just unaware. Okay, so I thought about this. When does this matter? Because at first I was like, yeah, finally it rounds up. But I was like, wait, does it actually change anything? Because if you have 3 tokens, you can spawn a 2-pointer, right? That matters. Okay, so that's very relevant. So just one turn you get a 2-pointer for basically a tactics card. But it would probably not summoning them until
it's always
turn
been
3,
turn 3 for
which
the
is
2-pointer.
probably still okay.
Or 3 if you get lucky.
Well, that was if you were like going as hard as you can. I think that's what I'm saying now is even if you don't take the Forced Extraction card, I think you can still spawn a 2-pointer on turn 3 pretty reliably. Because you can just double beam on turn 1 and 2. Or beam on turn 1, beam on turn 2, summon on turn 3, I think is pretty reliable.
That's only one card and a horrible.
And you don't have to sell out your whole list to do it. Correct. I don't think he's horrible. He has good abilities, right? Do you think he's horrible? He's definitely not competing with current 4s, but he's not dog shit.
I'm gonna say no. He's dog shit.
Dated. Okay. Well, if he's dog shit, how many 4-pointers in the game do you think aren't dog shit?
30
out of 30.
Yes.
So he's one of the worst 2 4-pointers in the game, is what you're saying?
Sinister was on my back when last year when I did playing everyone.
He
was one of 6 characters on my you should throw this character in the trash. It might be, but you asked me a question, I gave you my answer.
That's really a user error problem. Okay. Anyway, I don't think this will really affect the game too much, although it is nice to have this card be not impossible to use in an actual game. Next up, we have World Domination. This is just a wording cleanup. They changed the word secure or control to secure, right? Yeah. So it allows you to use it on pay to flips. That's basically it. Moving on, we got First of the Black Order. This is actually a relevant update. It changed it to...
It changed it to friendly, so your opponents no longer get power when you daze someone.
Yeah.
No. I mean, this is relevant if and only if your opponent was a complete degenerate asshole. No, when you were playing Corvus and you killed a model and they're like, oh, my Black Order model gets power, thank you. Which no one did. Nope.
Yeah, I thought they changed it
it's still horrible.
All your models got power. Yeah, it's still Black Order. Wow, okay, so this card still sucks. Alright, never mind, I apologize. It's time travel, don't ask. This was the cleanup that just makes it... one second. Sorry. Makes it to where the card actually functions. But it's still bad.
I don't know that it's 100%
especially with CGR
bad.
Getting changed now.
I think there are cases where you might want to be able to pull off, the movement, the extra points. I'm not sure that it's consistent enough for you to actually want to take it in a competitive list.
I don't know. It just, that's the problem. Is like, how is the odds of this being better than basically any other?
It's got victory point written on it there. So there are situations where this card will be the card of every Tactics card you can play. You would want to play.
No, so I understand the logic behind that. All I'm saying though is if you cared at all about victory points, you would be playing a 6-point character that doesn't contest.
But
if it's just so weird that you have to go so hard on the opposite strategy.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's good. I just think it's
like if all you cared about was cards that give you victory points, they're so much better than this. And if you're looking for cards that make CGR better, there's better cards than this. And so it's just in a really weird spot. There is clearly a niche where it will happen and be good. But there a lot of Tactics cards are good, so I just don't know. It feels like a throwaway card to me. I'm sure there could eventually be a reliable situation that it's good in. I just don't see it. Next up, we have Meet My Executioner. This is probably one of the better erratas they've ever had, because the original wording of the card was so terrible that it didn't do what it was supposed to do. So basically now Scourge can take a collision for somebody else. But now it's only Enchantress, where it used to be anyone but Enchantress. Is just odd. Anyway, moving on. And again, a lot of these have been known for a while. So, last minute save. This is just an old wordage cleanup where it says when an enemy would cause the effect. All right. Our first relevant meta, I guess, kind of relevant meta change. Ironbound books will no longer refresh if a grunt is KO'd. Thank God, our oppressive overlords of Convocation are no longer number one.
So, you love this change, and I hate this change. Psych, other way around.
This is one of my least favorite changes. I know, Aaron, you like this change. Can you talk about why you like it?
Yeah, I think that this is how the card always should have read. Because the way it was typically played was just gimmicky with grunts just to get books back. So if the point of the affiliation is that they need books every turn, then just make a non-gimmicky way for them to get books back. Like, you can spend 3 power, refresh books, which then lets you pay power to use it again, right? Just make it an in-game way that doesn't require a gimmick.
Sure.
Or, and I don't think you needed the gimmick for it to be functional. You just couldn't play it on turn 2, right? But if you played it on turn 3, chances are you were losing someone, and then you'd get it back for 4, if that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you could play without it. So I still think it's totally fine as is. And if not, then they could have made it a little more powerful by providing a different in-game mechanic. But anything that gets rid of a gimmick in the game is good.
I agree with that logic a lot. I also think it's kind of gimmicky and weird. Their whole faction, though, is pretty gimmicky and weird, and I don't know that they intended the entire time for Convocation to have to play with grunts. I will say that having played Convocation a lot, the faction functioned much better with grunts because of their playstyle. They tend to take fairly elite, low model count lists, so having the grunt there actually helped them a ton. And also having it refresh books was kind of like a perfect marriage, which is why you saw it so often. It fixed so many of their problems having the grunt character there. Now, that's true of a lot of factions. Grunts are just amazing, and so you want them if you can have them most of the time.
I mean, I also would have been totally fine if they had just changed it to when a model is KO'd due to an enemy effect. But keep grunts available, right? Okay, now you get these little shitters.
Oh, just make it not friendly triggerable.
Just make it to where I'm not KOing my own guy on purpose to get a book back. Make it to where I have to decide if I'm going to daze furious grunts to make them drop the objective, knowing that you're going to get books back next turn, or just let them keep the objective all game. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I think I agree with all of that. My biggest problem is I think that this is a bad change for game balance. I think Convocation is less balanced now that they've made this change. Now, I agree that it's a gimmicky, stupid mechanic that probably shouldn't have existed, but with the rough timelines that they've talked about, they playtest in, they knew grunts were going to exist when this card was made. And the fact that they released it as is, I think it means that they did know it was going to be a thing, and they definitely should have planned for it. And the fact that it took them 2.5 years to fix it means that it was not a priority for them. And so, I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it now. It seems like a huge mistake to me for game balance. But I agree
nothing of what they did was for game balance.
Right, exactly. And so that's why I dislike this change so much, is I think Convocation is effectively not competitive anymore because they cannot compete with the current model load out there, because they can't compete with the blitz scoring and they can't compete with the attrition teams now that all of their models are designed to die to them. And so I don't know what the point is. Like, it feels like a lot of work for no return at this point.
I don't know that they are completely uncompetitive. I think there are a lot of factions that are on the underside of 50, but are still, can still hold their own, and in the hands of a competent player, do very well. I would say combos in that.
I think they were there before this. I think it felt like you really had to work hard to get wins with them. Now that doesn't mean you can't, right? It just meant you had to do a lot of stuff that other factions aren't having to do, like all this gimmicky stuff they had to do just to get their models to work right.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Alrighty. Next up, we have Daughters of Thanos. I don't even know what changed with this card. I looked at it 4 times. I still don't know what changed.
Cost went down from 2 apiece to 1 apiece.
Okay. I thought that was the thing, but I checked it later, and they said 1 on both sources, so I didn't know. Makes sense. Is this more relevant now?
Absolutely.
It's clearly better because it's cheaper. But
free attack for 2 power. I mean, I almost want to use this, anywhere, but yes, I think it's absolutely relevant, especially if there are fewer, unaffiliated cards to choose from. You're going to start digging into this type of card more often. Obviously, in the new environment will require some testing, but I would absolutely want to test this card. How often do I play it? Is it worthy of inclusion, etc. Before I make some final decisions.
So they make a pretty scary pair on turn 1 now, because you can run Gamora to a side point, and if they move up to contest it, then you just walk up and shoot them with Nebula, and then you get to attack them with Gamora as well, which is a lot of damage on the first turn.
Yeah. Or I like just using it for a third attack, right?
Sure.
It's not an action, so I go once with Nebula. You're on an extract. Let's say I only have 1 power. I'm like, well, shit. She can now build her twice and then spend her.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking baller. So being able to do that for 2 power, I think is incredibly good.
Cool. Yeah, this is definitely a good change. Next up, we have This Is a Robbery. Should be called This Is a Sham, but let's continue with the card. We got, it went from 3 power cost to 4 power cost. Aaron, is this a relevant change?
It went from 2 to 4.
What? I thought it was 3 before.
No, it was 3 to pick it up after you robbed it.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm thinking. All right, so it doubled in cost. Is that relevant?
Is it relevant? Yes. Is it relevant enough? No.
Okay.
I cannot believe they got rid of Mission Objective.
Banned Mission Objective. Is that relevant?
Yes, that is. Oh, my Sentinels are so sad.
Only counterplay.
Oh, all it does now is say I can never pick up an objective with a Sentinel again, ever.
Yeah, that's not true. You can just play Brace.
Sure, but I've already got Brace and Endom. If they have anything else that throws me, I'm probably saving those for whenever I can. So I use Brace, Endom, and Mission Objective because Rhino is everywhere. And so when you've got usually multiple people who are throwing you, Bill, Hulk, fucking Black Swan,
Thanos, right?
Yeah, Thanos, Red Skull. There's plenty.
Yeah, Red Skull.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You would think there are not a lot of things that can throw size 5 in the game. Yeah, it turns out they're just what's meta. So don't worry about it.
If you counted up every instance of throw any size, there was 14. But a lot of them are really niche things.
all I'm saying is I ended up playing against a lot of them. So I needed every single anti-throw possible. Mm-hmm. And so taking away the anti-throw that Mission Objective provided was...
And it sounds good, but he still gets the objective if you play MDOM or Brace. And so Mission Objective was the only thing that stopped both.
Yep.
And so even if it just says spend 4, throw a size 5, that alone is good. like it doesn't even good, matter, right? That he steals the objective. Yeah, like if like, do you know who I am just said spend 4, throw a size 5, you'd be in. Like,
now, granted, that's looking at this through myopic Sentinel's eyes, right? Which is just what I was playing prior.
Well, they're not the only size 5 models, but yeah.
You are correct. They're the only one that has an affiliation entirely made of size 5 models, though. So
that's not true. They have size 2s.
1.
They got a test card, gives them a second one. You have a size 1. Size 1 Sentinel.
So, back to this as a robbery. Is it better? Yes. Is it going to significantly change the meta or win-loss? No. Hellfire's still going to have a Rhino with all the power to do what he wants. You can't plan for your turn 1, walk,
right?
Yeah, attack, throw turn 1. Okay, how relevant is that?
That's the big question. Part for me, is that it greatly reduces the odds of it happening on turn 1. Which is the worst.
Shit ton of... You need 5 power, so you need to gain 4.
Why do you need 5?
4 to throw, 1 to pick up.
3. Oh, now you do, correct. Yeah. Before you would only need potentially the 2.
You needed to do 2, right? Which is very, very possible.
That's if you want to pick it up. Like, if you're going last, you don't necessarily need to pick it up.
Yeah, you'd like to. The scores that are the teams that are playing Rhino really want to score out on 3.
But just by me playing it, you're losing a point, and I could be throwing you off of a secure that I am now scoring, so it could still be a 2 victory point swing.
Yep.
It's just not a 3 if you don't get all 3 power.
So yes, this is clearly a better change than what was what the card was ahead of time. Still disappointed it exists.
If they changed it to a push, I think it's still too good.
How about no push? Just you get the objective.
Yeah, you just get the objective. That would be better. Like, that would actually be fine, I think. It would still be strong, but it would not be oppressive. The fact that this card did not get banned blows me away.
Yeah.
It turns out the way to get a card banned or ratted the quickest is to print Rhino on it. Most people weren't alive during the fucking... What was it called? Hired Muscle? God, that card was so stupid. All right, next up, online and operational. See... Finally, Sentinel Love. Got it right here. They doubled the cost of the Rhino card and halved the cost of the Sentinel card. Yeah, the game is perfectly balanced again.
Yeah, or not. Yeah, love this change.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you going to actually play this card now? I mean, you don't have mission
as a Sentinel player? Anymore, so
well.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Like, if I play Sentinels, will this card be making my 5? Yes. Sorry, will be making my 10. I think it will... be worth playing. My concern is that the weak link in a Sentinel list was always Prime. Mm-hmm. If I've got this card in my 5, people are further incentivized to just attack Prime. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that this is going to be a significant boon towards taking Sentinels over the 32% win rate, but it can't hurt.
Yeah, I'm excited. This card looks fun to play. I always thought it was fun and interesting, and so making it better is always fun. Next up is Versatile Strategy. As far as I understand, the only cleanup was to clarify that you can't have multiple leaders after you play Versatile Strategy, which was only relevant if you also play 2 Shall Rise.
Yeah.
Which some listeners were actively trying to do, is to play Sin. Who was it? You play Strucker, kill Strucker with Modok with Simpleton. And then you immediately play 2 more Shall Rise to select Sin and Malekith as your new leaders. And then you Versatile Strategy to like Red Skull 2. You're like, what are you doing? Anyway, it was fun.
Playing 4D chess with himself.
Yeah, 4D chess with leaderships. Anyway, next up we have Dark Empowerment, the Dark Dimension card. I think this was just wordage cleanup again, saying that he can't gain power from it. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, next up, we got Joint Effort.
Specifies attack action now, I believe.
Yeah, the next attack action made by this character that played this card, this activation adds 2 dice to each of its attacks for each other character within 2. This is from the new core set, right?
Yes.
I haven't even opened that yet. Well, I've opened it. I just didn't unpack the cards. Foreign assignment. I don't know what changed with this. Can you tell me?
I can. He can no longer pick multiples of the same.
And he was allowed to do that before?
Depends.
Depends.
Again, how degenerate
that was one of those
are
just
you?
Like, they didn't technically decide.
It was not explicitly forbidden, so sure, someone could be like, yeah, I'm going to take Rocket's gun 5 times.
Yeah.
So now you can't.
Alrighty. Next up, we have Instant Recovery. This is the replacement card for Exceptional Healing. It says, when an allied character with healing factor would suffer damage from enemy effect, after the effect is resolved, they can spend 3 to heal 2. So you take the damage first, so it doesn't protect you from dazing, but you heal 2 afterward. I think this is still a good card. It is not the, super tier that we used to have, which was clearly not okay. I think it would have been all right if they just said reduce damage by 2. But that prevents you. The way they do it here, it doesn't stop the dazing also. You have to have taken 2 damage for it to be relevant. And so if you just take 1, and then they do like 4 with the next one, X23 still dies. And so it's even less opportunities for it to save you.
I'm going to take the good, or the controversial take and say this is actively bad.
The card is actively bad, or the change is actively bad?
The card. Okay.
I don't think it's actively bad, because there are some models that are so powerful if they survive an activation that it's like Logan, for example. If Logan lives, it can completely change a game. And so, like, the difference of winning and losing game can come down to, did you do 6 damage to Logan in one activation?
Yep.
And if this stops that from happening, different game.
In my sample size of playing the card of 1, I played it after the first attack into an X23. It took 3 damage, reduced down to 1, and then took 4 damage and died. It was a card that would have been better off being any other card in my kit.
Mm-hmm. I think this card is really only going to get played in either X-Men or Weapon X when you've got 2 or 3 healing factor models.
So again, I played it in the exact perfect situation. Like, she needed to live. Turns out she didn't. Could I have lived 1 instead of being killed to the box? Sure. In which case, the card's amazing. In that situation. My issue is for a card to have such a wide variance as to being between worthless and amazing is so frustrating to play.
I mean, by that same justification, Recal is either worthless or amazing because it's all down to the rerolls. Like, everything in MCP is up to RNG at some point. The fact that you had a card that could effectively say, my model cannot die, was silly.
I'm not going to... So we're going to go back to is this good for the game? And I'm going to say probably yes. And I'm being slightly hyperbolic. The card is not trash. The uses are clearly there. I still think, personally, I would prefer a card that is consistent. Like, play this card, move short. Like, I always am going to get to do X. Not play a card and hope. Which is why I don't like Recal. On the other hand, using Recal defensively, I think, is much more consistent than, say, this card here.
Oh, yeah, I would probably agree. It depends. The real interesting thing is there's not many healing factor models that have a high health pool for that exact reason. And so, isn't it, what is it? It's there's I want to say, what's her name? Psylocke card that gives her healing factor. But even then, the highest health pool on a healing factor model, I think, is 7. And it's on the front side.
Cassandra Nova
has 6, right?
I think
she goes 7. Yeah, because her and Logan then have 7.
Nah, Logan's 6'6",
everyone else
isn't he?
Logan is 6'6", but old Wolverine is 7'6".
Yeah.
Sabretooth is 7'6". Oh yeah, Apex is 7'6". But yeah, 7 is the highest, which is a lot. But on the injured side, there's only a few 6s, and the rest of them are all 5s. And so there's not that much room to use it on the backside. And so maybe part of this was they were trying to encourage you to use it on the healthy side instead of using it on the injured.
So I think the actual probably best most consistent case for this card is not to keep someone alive as they're being dazed, right? Because then you're just hoping like I did. But rather use it when they after the second attack, so you know that they're not dazed, and now they've taken, let's say, 3 damage. You're like, well, nope. Now I'm going to heal 2, and on my turn, now I'm going to healing factor back to full health. So it ends up being a poor man's med pack.
Yeah, kind of. That's how I saw it as well. Is it's more about a punishment for not killing you.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a strong reasoning. Like if you just activate a normal model that's only got the 2 instances of damage, so they don't have like a throw or a triple tap effect. So what they can do is, they hit you the first one. You're like, all right, I dealt 2 or 3 damage. You're looking at what they have left. You're like, well, you have enough to spend her, and what you can do is play it and just make it that much harder for them to actually daze you. But yeah, I don't know. I actually like this card, and I think I'm excited to play kind of like a Hellfire with all the healing factor guys, and it's just another version of healing. And so combining that with the leadership and with healing factor, you can potentially heal like 5 damage on the same character in a turn. Which is a lot, because you're basically at the end of their turn, you're playing instant recovery. Your turn, you're using healing factor and then triggering leadership. It's a lot of healing on a single model. Anyway, I like this change. All right, and we have the final tactics card here, which we also touched on last week, is Stolen Identity, which is just the renaming of Deception. The only change is the model that you deceive must not have an activated token. That was definitely the huge value of Deception, but it's still good regardless.
I think it's a great change.
I think it's a great change as well. It clearly takes it out of the restricted category and puts it back into just a good card for a single character. Removing the huge shielding from the card definitely makes it more in line. I don't know. It's hard to look at it with non-biased eyes because it's been such a boogeyman for so long, which is, I think, why they changed the name of the card. They just wanted to get rid of all the history the card had.
Yep.
Because if you look at it through just fresh eyes, it's a 0-cost card that lets you move an enemy model. That has to be good, right? The only other thing I could think of is if they noticeably reduced the range and made it cost like an action. So not only would that make it required to be on her turn, but she couldn't move and do it, and attack.
Bottom line, they took away the NPE of what do I do turn 1, right?
Yeah.
So 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, agreed.
They don't need to make it worse by making it take an action. It's still very thematic. It's her.
Yeah, I was only saying if they kept the old verbiage where it didn't have to be activated token. But yeah, I think this is a really good, elegant change. This is the kind of stuff I like to see. But all right, that will wrap up news for today. Let's see. Next up, we have currently playing. Show Me Showdown is in 2 days. Aaron, what are you playing at Show Me?
I don't know. We're going to talk about it tonight.
That was such a segue.
All
right, so what are you thinking for Show Me?
So I got in a couple practice games when I was going to take Professor X. Then I played CJ, and CJ put a blindfold on me, put a gag in my mouth, turned me around, pulled down my pants, and went to town. I haven't been rocked that hard in Marvel in a long time. He ended up playing Invaders with Namor. So
he played the Fishies?
Yeah, he played the Fishies. So we are going to let him play Invaders, but I'm going to play Namor and Zemo. That's it. It's Namor and Zemo.
Is that's what he played against you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
with other
what
synergies
is it about Namor and Zemo? Is it just that they're high tempo?
No, it's that they both have strategic genius that don't cancel each other out. It is fucking stupid. And then in Invaders, they get an extra reroll, so they're rerolling 3 dice on defense, including skulls. It's pretty good. Again, we're not going to play Invaders, so we could go any number of directions with Namor Zemo. But I really think AMG probably missed the ball by giving 2 separate reroll bubbles in the game now. I either want to play in Defenders, right, because I have Namor, or we can play in Cabal with Zemo. Not sure I want it in Hydra, but I'd be open to it. And
what's the name of the tactics card that gives them a leadership?
Invaders.
The Invaders guy. Okay, so they just get Miles leadership, basically.
Yeah. I would also be interested in Defenders, Cabal, Hydra, or even some unaffiliated jank, and maybe look at using stuff like Crystal or Bucky 1. Like Crystal would get 2 rerolls times X many dice. That's a lot. Beams. Like let's play Defenders with some down the middle scenarios. Add Dynamo to the mix. I mean, he gets to be an offensive powerhouse with a 5 reroll 2, and then he's getting all the power back, and then he gets to just spend it to keep them alive while they're each rerolling 2 on defense. Like that synergy obviously is not going to happen every game, but yeah, it needs to be exploited because there's some gold to mine there. Okay, what are your thoughts?
I'm probably the least experienced person with Shield, so I don't know a lot of their stuff.
I don't want to play Shield. That's the only thing I don't want to do because he's already playing it.
Okay, so you just want to play Namor with rerolls.
Namor and Zemo.
Got it.
That's it.
Okay.
Yes. Not rerolls you have to pay for. We're not playing fucking Shuri and Ironman. Like I want 2 free rerolls on all of my team or a key member of my team. So people who get the rapid fire seem good.
Are you going just all in on attrition? Like your plan is to Stompy?
Depends. If I go Hydra, maybe not. Maybe the rerolls are more defensive. If I go Defenders, then maybe it's, pedal to the metal. I want 3 rerolls, or 2. I want 2 plus X on attacking, right?
Well, so you already have a lot of high tempo models. Have you considered doing Criminals with what's his face, Daredevil too? Because it gives you a grunt that gives you the steely or the extra pickup for early. Then you get to attack like everyone's going to be playing high scenarios. So there's going to be objectives everywhere. Then on top of that, you get to play Rhino, who's affiliated and good with this strategy because he's super mobile, so he gets to hang out near Namor whenever. And then you putting Zemo in Criminals is obviously still fine.
Sure, but Namor, Zemo, Rhino, Daredevil is already 16.
Yeah, they got Bullseye for affiliation.
What do I play at 17?
Now, yeah, so squeezing in 9 points of not affiliated is going to be rough. Right. But
so where I originally thought we'd stick with one of the 3 that they're affiliated with.
Right. Now, that's, again, you could just take Zemo out in some of those games.
Nope. Namor,
I got
Zemo.
You. I understand. All right, then. I would go with Defenders, then. Because Namor's a Defender, you said?
He is.
Well, so that's... you're basically just doing the same thing, just with a different Daredevil.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about Daredevil's leadership is that it is... the fact that it's only once, it makes you make weird decisions.
Mm-hmm. And
so it's where, like, other Daredevils just do it every time. Like, just get past it. And it's good.
If I was going to go... So, I think Shadowland Daredevil does very well into people who don't necessarily know how to play into him. But he does relatively poorly into people who know better. Because they don't just take their first model and walk it onto a point.
Sure.
They're willing to not score points initially to slow the game down. And the old Daredevil lists were kind of squishy, and so they just would end up rolling over Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Namor Zemo, you might not be able to roll over. So I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen anyone play Shadowlands Daredevil as a leader since, before Red Skull came out. Like, as soon as the new Grunt character came out, like, nobody played him anymore. And the mission pack changed, right? Like, there was movement in the meta to justify it. But no, I've never seen anybody go back to that. And so, like, I feel like they kind of want similar characters. And so, like, Rhino is a model you could take, but there's also just other models. Like, you take Hood, you get a Mystic Rapid Fire with a bunch of rerolls that can turn into a Chain Lightning later. You also get a healer for Namor, so you can take some damage off of him.
Okay, let's build a Daredevil criminal list then.
But I think it also works in Defenders, so it's whatever. Oh, also with Defenders, you get Punisher, which is really good. I like Punisher with him as well. Because his leadership's 2 medium, because Namor's on a medium base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if he would be far enough up that you could rapid fire the middle while still being within 2 of Namor before he moves. Is medium plus 2 plus short plus small plus 3? Does that get you to midline?
So the medium base plus 2
plus small base plus 3. Does that shoot?
It does not shoot midline.
I think it's just short. Yeah.
Okay, we got to make up your mind. Am I going to play Crims or Defenders?
It's your list. You tell me what we're playing. I'll just throw out an idea.
Let's do Criminals. Because I think
Everyone's going to do defenders.
Yep, I think a lot of people are going to mine the defender gold. So I think there's absolutely something there. But let's see what we can do with some criminals here.
All right.
So the other reason defenders is great because one can pass the power to Namor.
Yeah, and you don't need the time stone, but that means you're taking a 2-pointer just for that every game.
It also means
you can't do it early.
You can still punish anyone who takes the middle with a charge.
That's true. But, I mean, I imagine that's kind of going to be the plan anyway. But everyone's taking the time stone to get the power. So you can basically spend 1 point on the time stone and have a shitty stone, or you can have 2 points on Wong and have a back point holder.
It's clearly number 2. I love Wong, man.
I like Wong as well. Let's see. You pick up Cruelty in Criminals. You also pick up Shadow Organization, which doesn't help Namor specifically, but
Cruelty is criminals only, so less great. Okay, let's add some Criminal Syndicate models here. Ooh, there are quite a few.
So obviously, I would say Rhino and
I gotta start with Daredevil. Okay, we have a Daredevil.
Yeah.
We have a Black Cat because we're not stupid.
Rhino, Bullseye. I don't think you need Black Cat unless you're going to actually play for scenario because she's
okay. Gone.
Not really this. I mean, she's fine if she's just hanging out, but I think your list doesn't really do that. Ooh, that would be cute. Okay, what if you took Claw and you just went like big boys hyper aggro?
We can try it.
I mean, if you wanted to do a more scory version, you could do Kingpin instead of Daredevil, and then you throw in Black Cat. Namor can steal objectives, and you just use him as a, like, super rhino, and he just runs around and takes shit from people.
I mean, throwing Kingpin in the list as model number 10 to have options is never wrong.
And then you could run new versatile strategy, even though it's worse.
Yeah.
And at some point switch off of Kingpin to Daredevil to finish out the game. It'd just be interesting. I mean, because he would basically make all of your elite criminal models count as 2 early, and then as you run out of gas because your guys are getting injured, like Namor is collecting the extracts for you. Namor and Black Cat are collecting the extracts for you, and Namor can actually hand it off to somebody else in criminals and steal another one.
Okay, added Kingpin, added Black Cat. We need.
Ooh, I forgot Sable was criminal. You don't have Sable yet, do you?
No. Own, yes.
Oh, Own, okay.
Actually, we're gonna ditch Kingpin and Black Cat for a second because I want to go back to.
Well, you can just leave them in too and just cut them later.
Yeah. Okay. People who are going to benefit the most from the multiple reroll bubble. So we're talking about and the ability to reroll skulls, right?
Yeah. You want characters that are going to be up in the mix. I was going to say add Killmonger.
So if I'm looking at an affiliated core, I would like to have another 3.
Yeah.
Before I build out further. So that could be. I really think I like Crossbones too.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. So the thing I do like about him is with hit and run, he'll be able to stay in the right area, but he might end up missing out on a couple rerolls doing it that way. But I mean, it's better to move, shoot, than to just move and shoot and get because you're getting the reroll once either way. Charge would just be better.
The other option is Taskmaster, who could stay. He could stay between the two of them and shield throw with reroll 2, which is a poor man's rapid fire.
Yeah.
Maybe even.
I was looking at Vulture. What about Shocker?
Don't know.
Okay. I was gonna say because he can add more defense. Yeah.
Doesn't
more defense dice.
Don't know.
Get the defensive route. I know. I'm just saying. I'm just talking about synergies.
Oh, okay. For people who aren't me and know everything. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then also the effect, like if your plan is to keep everybody in a tight bubble, and you're also doing a lot of melee attacks, having him up there reduces incoming attacks, which synergizes well with the leadership.
I agree with that.
Because he actually ends up being pretty tough against physical attacks, because he ends up being like 6 defense dice with a reroll against physical. Mysterio, he's too slow probably. Giving him a reroll for his attack could be cool. Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't even want to say it, but I think Sin is actually a good choice. I mean, she's a rapid fire model with hit and run. That's already good.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's Taskmaster, Crossbones, 2, Hood, and Mysterio.
Oh, you're putting in Mysterio?
I need one of those 4.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Did you look at... You don't own Vulture. I was about to ask. Okay. What about Bucky?
OG Bucky would be interesting.
Long-range rapid-fire model that has Hydra tactics. Has Spetsnaz training. Yeah. So he gets leadership reroll, Namor reroll, Zemo reroll, personal reroll. If you can get him to range 1, he's getting quad rerolls on his attack.
Yeah.
And they're individual, so you can do them all one at a time, so you're getting maximum efficiency. That's better than any of the models you just named. He just doesn't have the criminal keyword.
Which is fine. Okay. So that means the core that we're going to want to trot out is Shadowland, Namor, Winter Soldier, Zemo, and Bullseye.
That sounds like a bunch of robbers.
I don't know.
Say it again.
Shadowland, Namor, Zemo, Winter Soldier, Bullseye.
I don't hate that. Was that 17?
Mm-hmm. That's the core
17. Namor with Time Stone or just regular Namor?
Regular Namor.
Ooh.
I don't think you run Namor with the Time Stone in this list.
I haven't seen anybody not, but I don't think you're necessarily wrong. Especially if you end up going down to 4 models. But, I mean, really, if you think about it, you could basically trade Bullseye and Zemo for Time Stone and Rhino. Alright, so what if you did the the more scenario build? What would your 17 be? So it's going to be the typical Kingpin Black Cat Bullseye for, was that 8 points? 7 points? 9 points.
Yeah. No, Kingpin, yeah.
So you do a typical 9-point criminal list. You got 8 points left. So you throw in Namor and Zemo.
I could,
or you throw in like Namor and pick another 3.
Yeah, I would at that point probably ditch Zemo for a different 3.
Yeah, maybe either Mysterio or Hood. You'd probably want a fast mover still because you're playing Kingpin. Kraven's not terrible. Have you looked at Kraven? He's got rerolls.
He does. I would actually, in that instance, probably prefer Taskmaster.
Just because he's harder to kill?
Yep.
Dude, you have a guy that has a personal reroll, and you're not even going to take advantage of it. He also gives you Expert Tracker, which adds an extra die to other people's attack rolls.
Just not a huge fan of Kraven.
I know you hate Kraven, but I think he fits both of these builds very well. But I really like Bucky in the first one we did.
Okay, we'll keep Bucky, and I'm going to add Taskmaster. I am to the point where I no longer need to add affiliated characters.
Spends 30 seconds selling on Kraven, adds Taskmaster.
Yep. I have 3 spots. I do not have Black Cat and Kingpin.
Okay.
We are either going to add those 2 plus a 10th, or we're going to say, no, there are no Kingpin fallbacks. We're going to go all attrition, and we're going to see if there are other models that might benefit from an offensive double reroll bubble, i.e. people with beams.
But they're still going to have to be criminal models because your build requires you're effectively restricting yourself to Zemo and Namor in every list, so you don't have unaffiliated slots.
You're not.
So your only option is I think you should add Killmonger because he's basically a 4-point Zemo because his kill count tokens give him rerolls. I understand it's not a bubble, but
is Killmonger Usurper not acceptable?
Usurper works in criminals.
I only ask because I've never played him. It'd be nice to at least put him on that table.
You've never played Killmonger?
Usurper, the second one?
Killmonger new 2. Killmonger.
Yeah, new Killmonger.
He's called the Usurper? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's Killmonger, Usurper.
Huh. In Jadaka. Vibranium weapon. But yeah, this one is basically just old Killmonger. But he has Pounce instead of Charge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I like old Killmonger more.
Okay.
But that's me. Killmonger adds enough of a threat to where if they're focusing on Zemo and Namor, you have a legitimate backup piece that's going to come in and hit them hard as well.
Okay, so we'll add old Killmonger. If I wanted another attrition 4, I like... do I like MODOK 2?
I don't think you're going to have extra power on people. Being able to transfer hits is still reasonably good. The throw, without like mobility help, he's kind of just okay.
Yep.
I don't know if that's really what you want.
Just thinking like at 18 when I need to upgrade a model. So we're going to take Winter Soldier and make him a 4. It could be Killmonger, it could be MODOK, it could be M'Baku. Gwenpool can modify her own dice. Okay. I could try Silver Sable. 4-point Bucky.
Sable's probably not bad, but she's never going to be in the reroll bubble.
I mean, it depends where it's at, but yeah.
Because it's true, she doesn't like have to use her maximum range.
Okay, let's add Silver Sable, mainly because I never played her. And with my last one, I like your idea of throwing Claw on the table.
Oh, but you're not doing the Kingpin plan.
Yep, Kingpin's out. This is full Shadowland all the time. Okay, so we have Shadowland as a leader. We have Claw and Namor as our 5s. Rhino, Killmonger, Silver Sable as 4s. Taskmaster, Winter Soldier, Baron Zemo as 3s, and Bullseye as the 2.
I think that's too many 4s, but I don't know that it matters.
I would be happy to take out...
All right, how about this? What is your build that puts Claw on the table?
I'm probably playing 5 wide at every threat level, so that would be at 19.
5-5-4-3-2.
Incinerate, immune to incinerate. So yeah, it'd be 5-5-4-3-2. Absolutely, at least as an option. I think he would work really well on demons. He could also come out at 20. You know, I'd end up upgrading Bullseye, or I take Bucky. No, 6 and 8 is 14. Yeah, I'd upgrade Bullseye to Bucky in that case.
Yeah,
if I wanted to play at 20. But in terms of responsibilities, right? We have people that we don't mind picking stuff up with in Taskmaster, and that's about it. That's a problem. Shadowland himself.
Bullseye can pick stuff up, like back points.
Yeah, I'm talking like midline. If I have to go to midline.
Midline stuff. Yeah, I think midline you're more about punishing. So the only missions I think that you're not a big fan of are the 3 on the middle, because you can go pick one up with Taskmaster, but then if you have Prio, it's like, why would I pick one of these up when my entire list is designed to punish you for doing it?
Okay, let's go ahead and swap to Crises and see which one's a...
So how about this, though, before we leave? I just feel like you're adding more value to your list if you were to cut Claw and Sable for Kingpin and Black Cat.
I think having that
change of gears... Right, but having that change of gears, just straight up, think of it this way, just for gamesmanship, they'll look at your roster and go, oh, he's playing Kingpin. And they won't even look at the rest of your models. And like, so you won't be playing against people that are like building against Namor, I don't think. They'll just see Namor and go, oh, that's a fun splash. And like, but they won't realize that's your list. You know, like, who's going to know that we had this conversation? And like, we talked about this.
No one when I'm playing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so fine.
I mean, it's clear that you're just never going to do it, so it's a waste. So I think
never going to do what?
Play Claw.
Ooh, I was excited to play Claw.
I'm not saying you can't.
I wasn't excited to play Sable, but I was excited to play Claw.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Like, you have like 4 4s in this list. Like, you don't need that. That's too much. So at least if you have that many 4s, you have like the point is that you have a second choice.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said you need to have roles for your people. It's not just how many 4s do you have. It's like, when am I playing people? So let's think through here real quick. At 5 and 4, there's no 6-pointer. What do I play at 15?
You play. This is easy. You play Claw, Namor.
You made Bullseye, me take Claw out.
Zemo. I know.
Yeah.
But then you just play Claw leadership and say, fuck it. So at 15, assuming you're not doing Claw, I think Kingpin is obviously very strong. You just have to basically drop Zemo for a 3-point criminal and you cut Bullseye.
I would probably play Shadowland over Kingpin. I don't like Kingpin on Researcher.
Oh, right, because that's the only 15.
There's also Gamma.
Yeah.
But I can't go 3-wide. Like, I'd love to go 3-wide with, say Namor, Shadowland, Hulk, but A, that's not affiliated. And B, we don't have a 6-pointer in the list at the moment. We could give Namor the Time Gem and add Claw back in. I don't love that.
No, because then it blows up your 17-point plan.
Okay, so Shadowland and Namor is 9. So I need a 4 and a 2, or a 3 and a 3. That those are all fine options. Killmonger Bullseye is probably the killiest.
Yeah. Not having Prio at 15 points when it's definitely a middle scenario is going to be interesting.
16, we cannot run the Dream Team because that's 8 and 4 is 12, 13, 14. Yep. So we try to avoid 15 and 16 low cost.
Okay. So you want higher points and probably spread out extracts that aren't on the center line?
Kinda. I want, like, Demons is the dream. I want to force a middle fight so that I get a reroll bubble, as opposed to spreading my reroll bubble out.
Okay, well then maybe we should build in a 15-point plan, since, like, all the 15-point missions are middle fights. Yeah, what if you just didn't do Kingpin? You just did Daredevil instead of 15.
That's my plan.
Yeah, the points work. We're just going to play Daredevil.
Oh, it's going to be Daredevil, Namor, Killmonger, Bullseye.
Yeah.
And we're going to let you take the Researcher, and we're going to shoot the shit out of you.
Mm.
I don't want to take Researcher in my stack, though.
No, I don't think you necessarily need to. I just think you can play it if you have to. Okay, so going to missions, did you decide, are you going to Kingpin or are you keeping Claw?
Kingpin is in the mission set for now.
Okay. Going to missions. Obviously Demons. Probably Gamma?
I really don't like 15.
So choose different point total. What's the current meta choice? People take their reds?
No, it all depends. I don't know that there's a meta choice.
Well, every time I say, well, I'll just choose reds, you have to choose, like, everyone yells at me, no, this is what you have to do. I'm like, but then when I ask what it is, like, well, there isn't one. Like whatever. What's common? What is the most common thing right now?
People choose
blues, right?
Blues normally, but it all depends.
Okay. So normally people choose blues in a vacuum. So if they're choosing their blues, that means you're unlikely to get... That means the opponent would have to choose low points if you pulled your Gamma.
I want to say I really like Meteors.
Okay, that's fair.
And then I also like Intrusions a lot, I think.
For the mobility. What about
they're all standing on them. So it's like free rerolls every time I'm attacking.
You realize you're trying to take a bunch of pay to flips with Kingpin, right?
Intrusions is not a pay to flip. Meteors is. I wouldn't be playing Kingpin.
Okay.
Again, the goal is to play Shadowland.
What about Scoundrels? Because it's got a middle secure. You get cover on people that aren't near it. You can just hold the middle. It makes the game a lot easier. It's fairly scrunched together because the F is actually pretty condensed for having 5 points.
I don't love it, to be honest, because the 2-inch reroll bubble is... So ideally, like, I've got, one model... I've got 2 models sitting on the middle of a Gamma or a Demons, and then I've got, Bucky behind them.
Sure.
Who's getting all of the rerolls. So Scoundrels tends to... We have very individual fights on each of the 5 points.
Okay.
And the reroll bubble, it isn't like a bubble from 3 or 4, it's within 2. So if I've got Namor on the center point, he's not giving rerolls to people fighting on the sides. At which point, depending on how the games play out, it might be Namor and Zemo go do their own thing somewhere. So they are always benefiting each other, and they just get to be a super duo. And then the rest of my team gets to hold down the fort while they clean up on one side.
Yeah, I'm just thinking hypothetically, because Namor has charge, so you can charge him to, like the outskirts of the middle Gamma. Then you have a medium base from that, and then range 2 from that. I don't know. Not quite sure how far that rides out. It's probably not enough. It's not enough to get to other points, but it might be enough to get people that have like a charge or something in there. I'm thinking like if you had like Bucky, for example, on one of the side points, if he could like Hydra tactics into range of the rerolls and shoot a bunch of people.
I could always just play Kingpin on Scoundrels.
Right, that's kind of the idea, is that you would have Kingpin with Namor on Scoundrels. I think would be a good list. I don't think you'd be trying to play Scoundrels with Daredevil. That was not the point.
Okay.
So I think Demons and Gamma makes sense.
I want Intrusions more than Gamma. We're going to go Demons, Intrusions, Scoundrels.
That's the part I don't get. Like, how does your reroll bubble work on Intrusions?
So...
It just doesn't.
Well, it might, depending on where we're fighting at. Like, if I have Namor and Zemo on the middle, Bucky can be on the middle and shoot both sides.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bucky can also just be on the middle and Scoundrels and shoot all 5 points.
Sure, but I guess Namor and Zemo could also be on the middle there, too.
Yeah, you just
but
camp
he's
on the middle
shooting in the
everybody.
cover. Sounds bad.
Sure. Yeah.
The reason I really like Intrusions is because with Daredevil, it forces your opponent to come to the middle. Like, everything else, they can maybe be on a point or not.
Mm-hmm.
But Intrusions, typically every single model is on a secure point at all times. And with the roll of a die, I get to attack whomever I want with all of my, at least, Daredevil reroll.
There's definitely a fair argument that Daredevil likes Intrusions. I'm just thinking that Daredevil also likes Gamma, because if you're not going to hold the middle Gamma, I'll just win. Like, I don't even need to fight you, I'll just win on points.
I just really don't like the 15.
It's fair.
If I was to put a Hulk in the list, I would like it a lot more.
Yeah. So, Demons for sure. Intrusions for sure. And then you said you like Meteors.
I'm also fine on Scoundrels. We can have 2 Daredevil.
I don't hate Meteors at all, especially with your list. If your plan is not to play Kingpin all the time, I think that's fine. Scoundrels would just give you the option, and it's also a 20-point mission, so you get to play probably the best version of your list.
Yep, it's also the best version of all my opponent's lists.
I don't know. Not everybody expands to 20 well. I think your list does very well at 20 because you've got the big chunks of models.
Yeah.
What about Sword Base? It's another pay to flip, but it's very centralized.
No 15s.
Oh yeah, it's a 15. That was not listed on the 15s earlier when I asked.
Oh, you're right. And we're not playing Cosmic Invasion or Fisk, so we're playing 17 up. So we don't want a D, so Portals and Riots are out.
And Bees are also out.
Yes. So no Mad Men.
No Bees.
So it really is just Meteors because it forces that center fight. I can park, Namor, Zemo in the middle, and we just brawl. It's very much like Intrusions in that.
Yeah.
So I guess go ahead.
I'm struggling to see the game where your opponent's going to choose 15 points against a smashy list on a Gamma. The only way I see that happening is if they have a more smashy list. Because the only way they're choosing 15 off your Gamma is if you won Prio and chose blues, and then pulled the Gamma. I just don't see how that happens. Just choose your reds.
But I want to be choosing blues with this list.
Okay.
For the most part. I think I care where the fight is more than how many points are out there.
I mean, obviously, especially if your opponent hasn't identified your goal, it's just as likely to happen. I don't know. It just seems unlikely that they'd choose 15 against a criminals list. I don't know. It's fine.
Let's choose
put in Meteors.
Let's choose Meteors, not Scoundrels?
I think you're less likely to get a bad matchup on Meteors.
Okay. Extracts.
I think your ceiling is probably higher on Scoundrels, but I think your floor is lower on Scoundrels as well.
Fair enough.
Doing some extracts. Yep. Obviously, Montesi.
I don't own the card anymore.
I burned. It's a print to play. All right. Do you want triple centerline extracts now that Eyes is not a thing?
Sure, because they're just going to go sit on them, and I'm going to shoot them. So the issue really isn't do I want them, it's what do I not want. So you can start by eliminating.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't want Researcher.
Nope.
Right? You
Paranoia scores too quickly.
Yeah. You don't want the crazy high scoring.
So do both the 5s and the Senators. So we're down to 5 possible missions.
Scrolls. I like Scrolls.
As one of 5, it is in.
Legacy Virus has always been a favorite of mine, especially with Namor being able to collect the Infinity Stones.
Namor also collects assets, not civilians.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, scrolls,
for scrolls.
He cannot.
Well, he could only hold one anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
Sure, assuming he's picking it up.
No, I was specifically talking about Legacy Virus, but yes.
So if we assume that I loathe and detest Montesi because I'm not planning on picking my reds, that means the third mission comes down to Hammers or Alien Ship.
I think Alien Ship works better for your list comp. It's an aggressive, punishing list for picking up the extracts. I think on Alien Ship specifically, you just plan on not picking many of them up. Let your opponent take damage and then roll to take more damage from the scenario and then die.
Do we not try to see how good OG Bucky is with a hammer under Daredevil? I mean, that used to be a thing. How is that not?
So the cute thing would be The cute thing would be you pick up the hammers with Namor and then move up and kill somebody and take their hammer. And then you just see how many hammers Namor can get. But again, I hate the RNG fest of hammers because one person's going to get lucky and then win the game.
Yeah. Well, we're going to play that RNG fest. We're going to put hammers in.
That's fine. Because, you can just pick up... Well, no, it's actually because he's on it. Oh, no, yes, because you have Daredevil. So you just ninja vanish one of the hammers to Namor. And then Namor just goes and kills somebody else with a hammer later.
Maybe.
So Namor can just attack the middle with a hammer on turn 1.
Not true.
Why not?
Because the ninjas have to move to pick up the center hammer, and Namor will not be able to be within 3 and able to attack the middle.
What?
So Namor, in order to attack the person who picks up a hammer, has to be deployed across from it.
No, not one that picks it up, just someone who goes to the middle. Like, I'm assuming that there's going to be a blue in the middle.
Okay,
if there's not,
strong assumption.
Different game, right? Well,
fair enough.
Sure, but
okay,
how far to the left can he go? Because you have range 1 from the back objective, plus medium base, plus range 3, plus medium base.
Yep.
Plus long. No, there's no way he can't get to the side, right?
I'll test it.
I think he can get there.
You have to be pretty, especially if they go to the far side of that, knowing what I'm trying to do. You pretty much have to be directly across from it.
Because the points are only, let's see, 9 minus 3. They're only 6.5 inches from the edge, and the other one is 18 inches in. So your 11.5 range 1 is 10.5. Medium base, we'll just call it 9. And then range 6, 3 inches. Man, I think you get there.
Okay, we'll look at it.
Yeah. But anyway, and that's assuming there's also no middle secure.
Yeah.
But anyway, my whole plan was not to attack that specific person on turn 1. It was just to attack somebody on turn 1.
Okay. Let's move on to tactics cards. I have filtered from for unaffiliated criminal and ones that I can use. There are a total of 31 possible cards.
Brace.
And since one of them is the initiative and another one's versatile strategy, we're going to say that there are 29. Ooh.
Oh, you're taking strategy? Okay.
No, I'm just saying of the 31.
Oh, you're cutting it.
Yeah, we cut. We're down to 29 possible. Oh, Sleeper Agent, down to 28. Oh my God. Mortal Servants, 27.
Hold on.
I'm just amazed at how few cards are possible to even play.
Yeah, considering there's like 300 of them.
Yep, there are 27 or so. Okay. I do not love All According to Plan, especially if I'm planning on playing 2 non-affiliated characters. But...
Yeah, I don't think you take All According to Plan.
Well, I can't cut it yet. With 27 possible...
What about Cruelty?
Hold on, we're going in order. Bounty Hunters. No, done.
Oh, okay, so you're going... What the fuck is Bounty Hunters?
I mean, it's Elector or Taskmaster.
Oh.
Did you click unaffiliated as well as criminal?
No, I'm not looking at what you're looking at.
Okay. Let's talk about restricted. I think it's clearly Brace and
Sack.
and Dom or Sack? Probably Sack.
I think Sack.
Okay. Brace and Sack.
Especially being that your whole list is probably going to be within range 2 of each other most of the time.
We do like Cruelty. Spend 2, make another attack. Can only have dice added from crit and cannot modify. So we're going to lose all those beautiful rerolls.
Sure. Well, the thing I like about it, with everyone running fallback right now, they're like, oh, I lived through it. I play fallback. And then you just shoot them because they don't realize Cruelty's a ranged attack.
Speaking of fallback, it comes into the list.
And there's a lot of weak to Mystic running around right now.
I'm a Baron comes into the list. I'm excited to play that.
I'm a Baron after all.
Yes. Joint Effort makes the short list.
Cruel Tutelage?
I considered it. I like it with Black Cat to give her a 7-die pierce.
With rerolls?
With rerolls?
With a lot of rerolls. I think it's okay. Zemo. It's only playable with criminals?
Yes, it is a criminal syndicate character. Yeah, that's the key. That's the issue. And then you're giving up a stagger on that model. So
Bullseye then still. Bullseye can throw like a fucking 8-dice spender with rapid fire.
That would be an 8-dice spender, yes. Okay, we'll add Tutelage in for now. We're not going to add Moo Mercy.
Fallback.
Fallback's in.
The most auto-included card ever now.
I don't love Shadow Org.
Yeah, with playing 2 unaffiliateds in every game, it's probably not worth it. I like it with Killmonger a lot, but you're not going to be playing him all the time.
Soldat activated. Hold on. Hold my beer.
It basically gives you I've got your back on any attack on your leader.
Yep. We'll add that.
And then additionally, this character begins the activation within 2 of the leader. Gains power and heals 1.
So he can.
That's nice because
he can gain a power. He can Hydra Tactics over Namor and like quad tap the middle.
It's active leadership, right?
Yeah.
Allied character was it? So
he'd have to start within 2. He'd have to start within Daredevil. 2 of Daredevil. But he can Hydra Tactics off of Namor for the extra distance.
That is correct. Yeah. And then get the double rerolls because he's gonna have Bucky and Namor there.
Yeah. Okay.
And then if they're on the middle point, he gets triple rerolls on the first activation. That's gonna be cute. That's gonna be very cute. Just people not thinking about it. Like, I gotta go to the researcher. Like, die, motherfucker.
It's Bill. He just survives.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
It triggers aggressive 4 times.
Synthetic heart-shaped herbs.
That's probably a card?
No. It is a card, yeah.
I thought that was Wakanda only.
Nope.
Oh, it's a throw.
It grants him a throw but gives him poison, yes. It grants him a throw for the rest of the game. However, we just added this as a robbery and usurp the throne. I am at 11 cards. Here are the 11. Brace and sack. Go ahead.
Yeah. What? Go ahead.
Brace and sack. All according to plan. Cruelty. Cruel tutelage. Fallback. I'm a baron after all. Joint effort. Soldat activated. This is a robbery and usurp the throne.
Definitely cut all according to plan.
Okay. Look at that.
Why was that? You said you were not adding it. And then
I said there's only like 20, after I went through them, like 24 or 25 cards total that you could add to this list. Mm-hmm. So I was like, why would I start by cutting a great card, even though I probably won't ever use it? Yeah. So I added it. But you're right. It was the 11th card.
Yeah.
I am really excited to play I'm a Baron for some turn 1 charges and Soldat to do some really fun stuff.
What does that do? I must be misremembering this card completely.
I'm a Baron. Does one of 3 things. But what you can do on turn 1 is play it to give him 2 power, which lets him long move charge turn 1.
Yeah.
Depends on... So let's say that they are aggressive and they pick up something on the right, like in front of Namor.
Yeah.
I could take Zemo, who's deployed centrally, double long move with the second one being in charge for some damage. And then Namor comes in, and now I have my 2 reroll bubble going to town on whoever picked up an objective there.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I definitely like it for Zemo getting to punish anywhere on the center line. That I didn't realize that was even a card, so yeah, I like that a lot.
I'm not sure I would use it all turn 1, but okay. That is a roster. I have strong issues with the less than 17 plan.
I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. I mean, obviously losing Zemo sucks, but it happens sometimes.
Well, my issue is I really like having someone with size 4 displacement on a Gamma or a Researcher.
Sure.
And I don't, like, in the entire list, so...
Your displacement is that you levitate the model up and move it to the side of the table, and then you levitate it down.
I'm aware. So I think if I was to iterate on this list, there would definitely be some changes. This is not a bad first draft. Like, does Namor get the time gen? How is he without it? Question mark. Yeah. Do I really want the Kingpin splash?
Are you going to practice this before Show Me?
God, no.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We're just going to show up and roll some dice. Okay, well, there you go, everyone. A random Shadowland Daredevil list for the new meta.
I like it. I don't think this is probably the best list with these characters, but it is unique. I think that's cool.
I guarantee no one else is running.
No one's going to be there with
in the world.
I really think when you like fill out the roster, you should like make it obvious that you're playing Kingpin. It's like, yeah, I'm just playing criminals, and you like Kingpin's out in front. You're like, yeah, I got Kingpin here with criminals.
Well, I mean, it's obviously also a great fallback plan for when I get, a strong scenario team playing Ds. I'm like, well, okay, plan B it is.
We'll play a game. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say that I couldn't also plan A them, but
there's a thing that happens in Magic the Gathering where people will play like a commander deck. And they're like, oh yeah, this is like my fun screw-around list that I built around this stupid janky card that's like kind of not legal because they had like a couple joke sets. So like I built a deck that just flips coins, and every card I play in the deck says flip a coin and do what it says. And then they're like, oh, well, you can't play that. It's not actually a tournament legal card. He goes, oh, it's okay. I have just a 1-card swap for it. I have Blood Moon. I don't know if you ever played Magic, but Blood Moon just says all of your non-basic lands become mountains. And in Commander, you basically have to play lots of non-basic lands. So like, nope, that's fine. You can keep your stupid joke card. I don't want to play against Blood Moon. Like, it's just like, oh, thank you. And so that's kind of, it's like, you've made me play Kingpin. I hope you enjoy this.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to play Namor. You're going to make me play Kingpin.
Well, I might still play Namor under Kingpin.
No, I know, but it's just you made the situation worse than it had to be.
Yeah,
like we could have just had a fun game. Now we're playing Kingpin.
It has been forever since I put Shadowland on the table, unless it was under Kingpin as a tanky character.
Right? It's just like, hey, look, I took this guy who survives.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I am excited to give this a whirl.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about what you will be playing?
Yeah, I'll be playing The Watcher because I'm running everything.
The week after that, then what are you going to start putting on the table when you get the chance to?
I don't know. I've thought about that a little bit. Like I said a little bit ago, I'm kind of excited to try. I've always wanted to play the healing factor version of Hellfire, and so now that they've nerfed exceptional healing, I actually kind of want to try that even more because I just like Apex and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Every list I want to play keeps getting nerfed, so.
You should want to play a lot of Thanos then. Just say it out loud.
Right. No, like of all of the lists I've played in the last 2 years, the only one that didn't get nerfed was Webs. And I think that's just stupid. Like just real stupid. But I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to Defenders. Like the Tactics cards that did get banned theoretically will make the game I want to play work better because I always hated playing against Advanced R&D and hating playing against Eyes. It's like, let's just play the game as it's supposed to work. But every time I build a list that's good at that, I line up against like Webs or Criminals, and I'm just like, okay, well, I just don't get to play.
Mm-hmm.
I
think Defenders are potentially really, really good.
Right, like Defenders is kind of up there on the list. I didn't play them very long, but like, I don't know, a little bit of the new Asgard stuff looks fun. I don't know. I really just the thing I've keep coming back to is at this point I'm just going to build a Brotherhood list I like because they're my favorite affiliation. I'm just going to play Brotherhood and just not care when I get dumpstered by scenario teams. I don't know.
Okay, well, best of luck in your
journey
forward.
Yeah, I wish there was. It's just hard to get excited about stuff right now.
I'm excited. I didn't even think I was playing Shadowlands this weekend, but now I am. See?
Yeah, exactly. I just need to get back into like grinding games.
I don't know about that. I mean, it depends what your goal is. Like, I am super not excited to grind games. I am super happy to play games and roll dice. I know that my win rate's going to suffer, and that's okay with me.
I get very bored with things on like just like a calendar period. No, it doesn't have anything to do with the number of games I play generally. I just like to change my rosters up every once in a while. And so with me playing less, it's been like I played 6 games with this roster and then moved on. And so instead of... But also, like, I don't feel like I make revisions anymore. And I don't know if maybe I've gotten better or worse at building lists. But I get to the point where I throw a roster together, I'm like, yep, this works. And the things I thought about putting in would not have been as good. And then so nothing changes and it's not interesting.
Well, I'll tell you after Saturday how well you are at building a roster.
I think this was fun. It was definitely off the off schedule, right? I have trouble getting myself motivated to play like specific things. So I also have thought about putting just a Sam list back on the table. Reform the Avengers list where it's just a bunch of dickheads that get mad at you when you kill people. So hobby project wise, you're basically caught up with everything?
I have 4 models to paint.
Which 4?
It is Namor, Panther, Shang-Chi, and Sable.
Which one are you going to paint first? Maybe Namor.
Probably Namor.
Probably Namor, since he's getting played this weekend.
Fuck, I should probably paint him by this weekend.
Oh my god. That would have been amazing, is you just start painting him Friday night, and then realize when he's like primered, you're like, fuck, I have to play this model tomorrow.
I've got tomorrow. So I'm going to be gone all day Friday playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, it's tomorrow Thursday?
Tomorrow is in fact Thursday.
I guess I'm going to start painting Namor tomorrow. See if I can get him done.
I like how you're now on page with where I was 3 minutes ago. Oh, God. I really wanted to try and get Punisher in that list, because he's really good with that whole strategy, but you're so sold on Zemo, which is understandable. It's another leadership bubble, or like reroll bubble. But...
I mean, the Daredevil list might be better without Zemo or Namor, right?
Sure.
I really think that like those two combos probably better in Defenders. I think the Defenders version of that list would be significantly better.
Yeah, I probably think so too. I think getting access to like Iron Fist or Luke Cage for Heroes for Hire would be really big with Namor.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Valkyrie. I like Valkyrie a lot with that combo as well because of her. You can Warrior of Legend her, get like more wilds, more hits. Like I think she can really go crazy.
So you could run what's his name? Regular Daredevil, Namor, Zemo, Valkyrie, and Wong. And now you have Namor turned on turn 1.
Yeah.
With Wong.
Well, you can already have that. You just have to pay the point for it.
You're dead to me.
Why don't you just play Advanced R&D? God. I
actually think Cage would be better than Valkyrie because you're just doubling down on what you're already doing well with Valkyrie. I think Cage would provide you a little bit of A, I get the reroll for all of my staggering you, but B, I actually get to protect these 2 murder bots.
That's why I was kind of leaning into Iron Fist. I think it's kind of an in-between because he's fairly defensive sometimes, but mostly with all of his placing, he can always be in the best spot for rerolls. And then he's got the threat of, the Iron Fist hitting, and so that's always annoying. But I'm sure somebody will show up with that, so.
Nope.
How many people do you think we're going to get tomorrow? Or by tomorrow, I mean Friday.
Friday for the warm-up tournament?
I checked today. There's already 10 people signed up. That's more than I expected.
I think we're going to get 10.
I think we're going to get more than 10.
Okay.
How many do you think haven't signed up yet? You don't think anybody has?
I don't know.
I think there's people that haven't signed up yet.
Okay.
We only have one person signed up for Judgment. I assume there's going to be at least 4.
On Friday?
Yeah, because I mean, this is assuming I haven't talked to them yet, but I assume there's at least like 2 or 3 locals that are coming just to play some cheap games, right? I know that 3s aren't the most popular thing, but I think people will still have fun.
I always thought that Friday and Saturday would get 0.
Okay. Well, 1 person's already signed up, and 2 people called me about driving up for it. So,
okay.
I think we'll get at least 4, but we'll see.
I will be flexible. I'll be showing up and playing Colin all day Friday, and then
who's Colin? Oh, Colin from Muse.
Yeah, for Judgment, and then I will either if there's 3 people for Judgment, it's gonna really suck when one of them gets to sit out. And anyway, I would join as the 4th in that case.
Yeah, exactly.
But otherwise, I'm planning on playing MCP on the warm-up Friday night.
Yeah.
Probably not with this list, though. I actually am going to play Sentinels for one more tournament.
Well, they're good now, so why wouldn't you?
Yeah, right.
They nerfed Heroes for Hire. They nerfed, not Heroes for Hire. This is a robbery and buffed online and operational. How is that bad?
I'm either playing Sentinels...
I guess context matters.
Friday night, or I'm taking them to NashCon for Saturday.
Ooh, spicy.
I know. I haven't decided yet.
Well, the problem is you're going to play your Namor list and absolutely fall in love with it and not want to play anything else.
Which is why I need to get the Sentinels knocked out
of your system.
I think I just need one more tournament with them. So
you didn't terrorize enough people on the internet yet. You got to do it in person. You see the life in their eyes die.
It's been all in real life, man. I haven't played on TTS, and I guess I technically played in the last league.
I was gonna say,
so I played
you guys had Sentinels as the number 1 win rate for a while.
1 game a week over a 6-month period, and that ended a month ago. So I played 6 online games in 3 months.
Okay.
My desire to play random online looking for games is cratered. If you couldn't tell, just fine. I still really enjoy, unless I'm playing CJ and he rapes me again. I really enjoy playing in real life.
I like the way you're putting this. You just took advantage of me.
I mean, it's what it felt like. Again, I've lost games in Marvel before, but that was an absolute bushwhacking.
You never had it. You never had your car. You just watched it get away. Oh shit. You're drag racing with that steering wheel. You're just hoping. So hopefully something changes because this is going very poorly.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here. Hopefully you guys had a good time. This has been Brandon.
And Aaron.
And you just listened to Why is Namor?
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.
We are the best.
How about patently acceptable?
No, we're the best. If you don't think you're the best, what are you doing in life?
I don't know. I'm pretty happy with slightly above average.
But I mean, so you believe you're in the best spot.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yes, absolutely.
There you go.
There you go. You got me.
Jeremy's not here. I had a good joke for him.
Is it the one you told me at the store?
That was one of the many I was ready for.
Okay.
I had a whole bunch ready, and then we were so busy on our 200 that I didn't get time to get to the dad jokes. My whole segment was going to be dad jokes. It was going to be 30 minutes.
I'm so
of
glad we didn't do that.
Dad jokes. I know, right? We actually talked about stuff. Let's see. I just reorganized my phone, so I condensed everything into one page and started using folders. Here we go. Found my little file of dad jokes that I've been saving. Did you see Deadpool and the Wolverine yet?
I did not.
Okay. I liked it. It was good.
I'm glad. I went through our and Muse's Discords watching or reading everyone complaining about the movie theater experience. And I was like, yep, this is why I just don't do that shit.
What do you mean? They were complaining about it?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Why? I don't understand. What were they complaining about?
I'm trying to think if this was maybe it wasn't fully their Discord.
What I saw was they were commenting on Jeremy's movie theater story where he had a bad experience that was 99% his fault.
Yeah, and then made it 99%
and then he became
someone else's problem.
Whiny Karen about it. Yeah, he's like, I need to go find somebody to scream at that's unrelated to this situation.
You're right. So I don't.
Look, how is that the right thing to do?
You're correct. So maybe this wasn't on other Discords. Maybe it's a different podcast. But bottom line is, people are going. Oh, Kenny was bitching about how much popcorn and drinks and stuff cost. I'm like, well, don't fucking buy it then, asshole.
Yeah, I know. I stopped at Quick Trip on the way in. I bought 3 bags of candy for $10. And then I got into the theater, and you know what? Large soda, large popcorn, and small popcorn, $0. Just go to the movie theater on your birthday, and you don't have to pay for anything.
Or don't go to the movie theater. But I guess there were a lot of people. So this reminds me of watching Star Wars, which my wife loved, when the 3 new ones came out. The first time Yoda came on screen, the entire fucking theater just erupted.
Yeah.
Which is great if you're a Star Wars fan. If you're I'm just here to watch a movie, what the fuck is everyone else doing, being raucous and rowdy? So apparently there was some of that at one of the movies someone went to for Wolverine. And they're dude, I want to watch the fucking movie. Telling everyone around there, shut the fuck up.
But they're rooting and stuff.
Yeah, there was a bunch of that going on.
I think there's certain moments in movies that is not only warranted but encouraged. The portal scene in Endgame. Everyone should be yelling and screaming. That's the whole point. We've waited 20 years for this scene, and here it comes. And, you should be excited. Now, if you're doing that at, you're just watching random movies, going to a horror film when everybody's, constantly screaming and stuff, I imagine that would take you out of it.
Even in Endgame, though, I imagine some people would like to enjoy the theater experience, and they'd like to witness that moment on the big screen and not hear stuff that's not on the screen, if that makes sense. So while you feel it might be appropriate to express enthusiasm, other people might be.
So normally I'm very much you shouldn't even be whispering during the movie. You should be quiet, right? You should be trying to make everyone have the best experience possible.
Yep.
But in those moments, I think it is very acceptable to. Now, if you're carrying on with it and cheering and clapping, no, that's not what I mean. But if you're gasping and awing when something happens, that's fine.
But people in general ruin all of my experiences somehow. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they do.
I think that's fair.
So
I just choose. If you're complaining about every concept of the movie theater, yeah, you probably shouldn't fucking go to the movies. If you're like, man, I really hate roller coasters, they make me really, like, motion sick. I'm like, stop going. The world's fun, you dumb shit. Like,
yeah.
It's
the
like,
only reason I will go to a movie theater is because my wife makes me. Or, like, there are some pictures that are best seen on the big screen.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something to be said for, like, the huge green screen experience.
Yep.
And, like, the really loud, surround sound that's properly balanced and everything.
Yep. Like, I go to the theater, and, like, the dude next to me just has their phone on the whole time. And they're keeping it, like, on their chest, but it's still so fucking bright. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Or the one time I went and someone didn't know how to turn off their phone, and so they just let it go to the answer machine, and we heard the dude leave them a message. So it's like 2.5 minutes of, listening to a conversation through someone's purse. While we're supposed to be trying to pay attention to the show. Shit like that,
No, I'm actually very confused. What are you talking about? You're saying somebody called and he let it ring, but then you could hear the voicemail?
Yeah. He let it ring, went to voicemail.
And then played the voicemail in the theater? Like, it's not an answering machine. It doesn't just play out loud.
I forget.
Were you watching this movie in the 50s?
No, this was very recently.
Very recently. Okay, I don't know. I own an iPhone. I've never had that happen. I think that would be very weird. So yeah, I mean, if it's just Jeremy behind you not knowing how to use his phone and is just playing voicemails for you at max volume, yeah, that would be terrible. But if the guy beside you won't turn his phone off, you go get somebody and throw him out, and then also get a refund for your movie. That's not acceptable. That's not something that is part of the movies. That is some random person being a shithead, which happens, but if you let them do it, then they're just going to keep doing it.
Sure. Well, those last ones were $100 theater tickets, not the movies.
Oh, yeah. So you definitely get that guy thrown out.
Then I've got to somehow disrupt it and leave in the middle of the theater performance so I can find someone else to be like, this dude's on his phone, and they'll walk over and be like, dude, can you stop being on your phone? And they're like, oh, yeah, sorry.
So the problem is that you went to the theater. I can definitely see a problem with that.
Yeah. Anyway, my bottom line is I went anywhere there were other fucking human beings.
No, yeah, I generally don't like being in public areas either, but it's worth it for some things for me.
Sure.
I definitely like going to the movies. It is prohibitively expensive to go constantly. I used to go see just stupid shit, in high school when movie tickets were $6. And so, but now they're 20, so it's...
We paid $11 when I went down in Branson for a regular movie.
Yeah, I mean, if you go during, matinee times, it's a lot cheaper.
Oh, it was matinee, yeah.
Also, the senior discount helps.
Go fuck yourself.
Got him twice. I don't know about you. I was actually... Am I a dickbag for this?
If you have to ask, the answer is yes. Go ahead.
No, on the website, you can just say it's for a senior or a child. And then, but they don't check. You just go in with tickets and you're like, I'm in now. Now everything, they're just you just go in and you have tickets and you go to your seat. And unless there's a conflict, they don't really check. At least at the local theater I go to. And so it's I could just buy 2 senior tickets and 6 child tickets and nobody's going to check. And I would have saved $100.
That's a question each individual has to answer for themselves. I will not do that.
I don't either. I'm just asking you, would you, if somebody told you, hey, I do that, would you is this a life hack, or is this you being a shithead?
No, you are actively being dishonest.
Well, dishonest is, I agree that it is dishonest, but, is it morally wrong to basically take advantage of a corporation's lack of, I don't know, follow-through on their, infrastructure?
Yes.
Okay.
What if you just snuck in for free because they weren't watching at that time? Is that okay? It's the exact same fucking thing.
See, for me, I would put that in 2 separate categories. I'm not going to say someone's a trash human for either one, but, yeah, it's definitely dishonest and you're abusing the system, but it's just interesting. Here's an example. If you know that there's a coupon at Walmart, and it's for 50% off one item, but it says it's supposed to be only for, books, but when you go to the self-checkout, it works on any one item, and you use it on a TV. Are you being a shithead, or is that their fault?
I think you're being a shithead. Okay. I have accidentally walked out. This was years ago with was it cat food or something in the bottom of my Walmart cart without paying for it. And as soon as I got to the car, we're like, oh shit! I walked back in and paid for it. I didn't go woohoo! Made an extra $15 today.
Right,
we're good.
like I made it to the car. I'm out. Like
right.
No, so a similar thing is like when I go to Chiefs games, I usually buy firewood for our fire pit that we bring. So I'll go to like Hy-Vee or whatever, and the firewood's just stacked up outside, and you just take it. There's no cameras, like it's just like a Midwest honor system basically. And
Yep.
so like I grab like 3 things of firewood, and I go inside and wait in line to pay for them. And it's just like I'm late now because I had to wait in line to pay for firewood that nobody's actually checking that I paid for. And I feel like an idiot when I'm standing in line, but also I stand in line every time. So
now you could just like go in front of the line, put $15 on the counter, and walk out.
that is actually stealing. That doesn't do anything.
Sure. Now, if a company has wronged me in some way, like legitimately,
then I take their firewood.
Yeah, right. So I believe in justice and due and comeuppance and everything. So
yeah, my mom was one of the like restaurant scammer people, and so she taught us to like all the tricks to get free meals. It's like, oh, well, you just say that like that you had a bad experience last time, or you pull out a hair and put it in your meal and you get a free dinner, like all that shit. So like I refuse to go to dinner with her because it's just like that every time. I'm like, I actually like this restaurant.
She's gonna
like,
put the hair in
I am
your
upset.
meal.
Yeah, I'm upset that you are ripping them off. like stop it. So yeah. Oh, should I wait for the pod? No, I'll just say this here. So I officially put my store into vacation mode because I have too many fucking orders. So it's just temporarily suspended. I got to 100 orders in God, how long was it? It wasn't that long.
100 total orders, not 100 backlogged orders.
Yeah, let me go
and that's
to my
official Etsy orders, not stuff you've made for people locally.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know if you're officially in the green yet in terms of profit made
I'm
minus?
in the green.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to calculate exactly because I don't keep track of a lot of like the in-person stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Obviously, that's with $0 paying yourself for labor.
Right. Yeah. Like if I was charging myself an hourly rate, I'd be well in the red. But
it depends.
I am ahead of the cost.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
happy for you.
Curious what it would take for me to figure out my total cost. But really, the plastic printer is what did me in for cost for a while because it was like $500 unit, and then also I put a lot of time and effort and free plastic into it that I was paying for because I was just doing calibration stuff.
I mean, how are you going to file your taxes if you don't know what your costs are?
Yep.
Moving on.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, at this point, I can basically claim everything I've done for the last 6 months, other than my movie tickets was a business expense. Like, that's just how like personal businesses are. It's like, well, I had to buy this. I had to buy like everything I buy, like, all my computer parts and everything. It's like, well, I needed this for work.
Yeah, and I would not think that's being an asshole.
No, I mean you're
not. If you bought a second computer and did not use it for your business, then yeah, that's a problem. But
yeah,
if you buy a part for your computer and need to use that computer for your business, then abso-fucking-lutely, that's a business expense.
Yeah, no, there's several parts of my computer I solely upgraded for work.
Yeah,
like I bought multiple new hard drives just for storage space and stuff. Because also, like, I know it's technically just the 3D printing is the side business, but the podcast is really the side business too. It's like all the money I spend on the cameras and everything, trying to do better battle reports, all that stuff, like, adds up.
Okay.
But yeah, I wonder, it's probably close, because I'd say only about half the orders come through the Etsy store. I do a lot of them in person or over Discord and stuff. Like how all the Judgment stuff pretty much has been outside of Etsy. Although, I mean, I do appreciate the people that do order off Etsy. Yeah, so thanks everybody if you are a listener for the interest. But it's just too much work right now. I need to catch up. It was really just like 3 separate items that really buried me. There's 3 dioramas I'm working on that they're all still in like production, and they're absolutely huge. That Lord of the Rings one is basically like a 9-foot cube when you do the math. It's like, oh god. Are you still enjoying your video games?
I am. I'm telling you, you probably won't see me for legitimately a month after Path of Exile 2 comes out.
When is that happening? I thought it was already supposed to be out.
It's supposed to go into beta in June. They pushed that back to, I'm guessing, November.
Mm.
But in preparation, I'm listening to some generic Path of Exile podcasts. And it almost makes me want to go back and play the original for a little bit now.
Yeah.
Got my Last Judgment all painted up. I have 4 newish MCP models, and then I'll be done. Then I'm going to eBay.
For a week?
I mean, there are still, I think, 6 to 8 MCP models I don't own. I don't know that I'm in a rush to go out and buy them, so...
Well, I meant for, like, are you not buying the Asgard stuff? Isn't it out this week?
It is. I'm probably going to hold off on that. Okay. We'll see.
Speaking of, I should probably email my sales rep. She promised me this order would go out in time. Yeah.
Pinky swear promise.
Always goes well. I wonder if I can just go to the website.
I get to have birthday dinner tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And so I got to pick what I wanted. And what I wanted was what we affectionately call hamsters. By we, I mean me. They're really the breaded chicken cordon bleu that you can get in like little packets of 2 or 4. A little frozen, you just pop in the oven.
Chicken cordon bleu.
That with some like asparagus, mac and cheese, and applesauce. Oh, hell yeah.
Is it like stuffed chicken breast,
yes.
basically? Okay.
It is stuffed chicken breast, and it's stuffed with ham and cheese.
Cheese, yeah.
However, they fucking didn't have any.
No hamsters.
No hamsters tonight. But that was my birthday meal of choice.
All right. Well, I checked the website, and there's an invoice for it, so it's saying that they basically processed the order. So we'll see.
Josh is going to be very, very happy.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
Nope.
It's mostly what I've been watching lately, other than catching up on anime. There's it's pretty typical, like, crime drama, but with the biker aesthetic put on top. But there was a couple scenes that threw me, and I was not expecting, that were like just really violent and surprising.
Well, I'm going to finish up what I'm currently watching, which is Evil, in about, I'm guessing a week. And then I will need something new. And I already finished Blacklist.
Blacklist is 10 seasons, right? Or is there an 11?
It is 10, yeah.
I think I've watched all of the 10th season.
Definitely less intrigued with it as it went on.
It definitely hit some, like, low spots where, like, they kind of didn't know what to do with the writing. But the thing that surprised me most about Blacklist when I first started watching it was the casting. Like, everyone from Blacklist gets another job. Like, so whoever's in charge of casting either knows a lot of people and gets his people rehired, or they just hire good people. And so it's always fun to see that kind of stuff. But yeah, I didn't used to watch a lot of, like, TV dramas. It was almost exclusively sitcoms. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the sitcom people that show up again are pretty, like, well-known. But, like, most, like, sitcom people don't show up in more sitcoms. Unless it's, like, years later. So there's a lot less overlap. But, like, dramas, there's so many dramas that, and generally speaking, the people who have, like, roles on those, because they generally have more supporting characters, because they rotate through, like, the crime procedurals and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are like, 1 episode to 1 season, like, career length. And so then they go on to the next one. They just keep jumping shows. Yep. And so there's a lot more overlap of actors.
I think sitcoms play a character, whereas dramas play a role.
Yes.
So when I look at person X in, Criminal Minds, like Mandy Patinkin, for example, I don't immediately assume he's playing the same role in something else I were to see him in. Whereas, like, pick Friends, and you're going to, Matt LeBlanc, you can't ever see Matt LeBlanc without thinking of him in his Joey character.
Well, part of it is because that was a 10-year run also. But also I don't know that Matt LeBlanc is a good actor. He is a fairly charismatic person. But I think Joey is, like, it was obviously a character, but that's also just kind of his personality, too.
Sure. I still think my point is valid to some extent.
I guess the difference is the way I look at it is more about the length of the character and is how ingrained it becomes in the way you see the person. Like, it's going to be hard to ever see Nick Offerman in anything as anything other than Ron Swanson, just because the run was like so, I don't know, like specific and so long. Trying to think, like Danny McBride is just like the same person and everything. Comedy actors are generally less good at the acting part and more good at the comedy part. But anyway, the whole point was that the dramas tend to churn through people a lot faster than like comedies do. And so you end up having way more people for a much shorter amount of time, like you were pointing out. And so I think because of that, you see them in a lot more things. Trying to remember, there was a show I said you should watch, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, if you think of it the next week, let me know. Most of the stuff you guys tell me to watch isn't on the services I have. It tends to be the problem.
What services do you have?
Netflix, Paramount, Apple.
Did you watch Yellowstone?
I have not watched Yellowstone.
Isn't that on Paramount?
It might not be. I think it's a Paramount produced, but it's not on Paramount Plus. It's either that or 1883. One of them is not on there.
Peacock. Is Peacock not Paramount?
Peacock is not. Although we do have Peacock for 1 month to watch the fucking Olympics. So as long as I can finish it in a month, we're good.
You should be able to, because it's not that like it's hour episodes, but I think each season's only like 8 to 10 episodes, and there's only 4 seasons, so you could probably get through it if you tried.
Okay, Yellowstone.
Yellowstone's very good.
I mean, if I have to do one more monthly subscription at $8 a month, it's not going to kill me.
Hopefully not.
Well, now that I'm actually jobless, I gotta take a look at shit.
You went from 3 jobs to no jobs?
Well, no, I still have 1.
Oh, okay.
But I'm too efficient in that job because I bill hourly. So my actual paychecks have been going down for the past year.
It's like a joke. You're like, why do I do this?
I'm doing it to myself. I mean, I'm actually working less hours, but it's okay. If it keeps up, I'll just give myself a raise.
Yeah, just change a number in a column. Don't tell anybody.
No, I'll just literally give myself a raise.
All the stuff I actually want to talk to you about, I don't think we should record. Trying to think of something else to talk about, but I keep coming back to the same 3 topics.
Yes, and she was way too young.
No, that was not those questions. Have you watched all the MCU movies?
Yes, with the exception of the most recent.
Yeah. Everything's that's not still in theaters.
Yes.
Somebody asked me at the game store, what is the worst MCU movie? And so immediately to mind came Eternals, because it's just, I don't think the movie's really that bad. There's just, MCU movies, while not always exceptional, do have kind of a floor, right? They're made for popular appeal. So it's hard to make a really bad one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took me a while, and then I remembered that Wakanda Forever existed. And I was like, wait, I got it. Wakanda Forever was terrible. That movie sucked. Did you like Wakanda Forever?
It was fine. Movies have a really, really low bar to get me to say they're fine.
Yeah. The real problem I had with it is it had, no real positive points where I, cared at all, basically, while it was going.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the ways they resolve things in the movie are terrible ways to resolve those situations. It's the whole thing where she's fighting Namor and she they figure out what his weakness might be. They work really hard to exploit it. And then the way they play out the fight, it still requires a lot of luck for her to beat him. And so she basically has him dead to rights and then is you know what? I'm a good guy, and just lets him go and says, don't do it again. And it's you will never get this opportunity again. You've given up your only opportunity to stop this threat, and you're completely at their mercy again. You basically threw away the entire plot and all the sacrifices you made to get here, hoping that someone you just met will be nice. I'm what the fuck? I was you deserve to die. Everyone here is going to die because of you. And so I really hated the way they resolved that. Now, if they didn't write it to be that way, and then she let him go, then that could have been if she was just able to beat him, that's a different story. But they had to write it in a way where it's well, this is the only way we're ever going to get to do it. So yeah, I really didn't like Wakanda Forever. So I was curious what your least favorite MCU movie is.
I don't have one that pops in my head.
Does anything pop up immediately beyond the two I already mentioned?
Okay.
Also, we're going to do an impromptu Mojo World right here, so just get ready.
I mean, both Shang-Chi and Eternals were very forgettable.
I'll give you forgettable, but I think Shang-Chi was much better than the Eternals. Because the biggest problem I have with... They're really just opposite movies, in my opinion. The Shang-Chi, I actually had an investment in the characters. The problem with Eternals is they tried to introduce 12 new characters, don't give you time to care about any of them, and then immediately start killing them off, and you're supposed to give a shit? And I'm just like, I don't... This person's had 2 speaking lines. Why do I care they died? Also, I think they made Eternals for people that didn't know anything about Eternals. So the fact that they're just androids that are replicants, basically, is supposed to be a big surprise. But, if you know what the Eternals are, you're like, yeah, I knew the whole time that these people didn't matter. So it's just, more don't care. It's very odd. That kind of showed that, the people making the movie didn't really know or care about the source material, even though they were fairly true to it.
What do you mean?
All right, what you got for me?
Yeah, those are the 2.
What was that was your 2, Shang-Chi and Eternals. So you like Shang-Chi less than Wakanda Forever?
I'd have to, watch them again. I'm telling you, I have
I can't remember anything that happened in either of them.
I can remember what I want and forget what I don't want, so... I would probably pick back up on what's happening in the movie where I'd watch it again, but...
Yeah. Okay, alright, so here's our Mojo World. We're going to do MCU Trilogies.
Okay.
It's just you and me, so there's not that many of them. Sure. Now, for the Trilogies, we're just going to say the first 3 movies of its type. And so if you pick Thor, you're not getting Love and Thunder, you're getting the first 3 Thor movies. Makes
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you like to go first? Alright, do it.
You can have your Avengers.
Strong choice.
I know.
Oh, it's better than that because I get back-to-back choices. All right, so obviously Avengers. But actually, that's not the one I'm actually going to go with. I'm actually going to say that Deadpool.
See, I haven't seen the third one, so trilogy. I wouldn't know. You did have an advantage.
Exactly, so I had an advantage that you couldn't overcome. But I think there's a strong argument that there's another one that's better than all the ones we've listed. But I think that, at least for me, the Deadpool beats it out.
You get to... Oh, so you have Avengers and...
And I'm expecting you to say it.
Okay.
And Deadpool.
Yeah. Nope. Although I'll probably give you only one anyway.
Ooh. That would be surprising.
So let's just go through my options. There is Ironman, which... Mm-hmm. Week 3rd or week 2nd?
Week 3rd movie.
Sure.
Second one was worse than the first one, but the third one was
Ironman,
just weak.
Thor,
just like Guardians, for example, I think has a weak second movie, but
Strange, and then Spiderman just has Homecoming and No Way Home. Yeah.
No, and No Way Home. Yeah. Sorry, Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home.
Iron Man and Spider-Man.
Good choices. Yeah, I think there's a strong argument that Spider-Man is the best trilogy. Because even, no matter which of the 3 movies you think is the weakest, they're all better than the weakest movie in any of the other trilogies. Except for maybe Deadpool, in my mind.
I like Spider-Man less than
about
everyone else who likes Spider-Man, so...
I think that's probably fair. I think a lot of people like the Tom Holland Spider-Man, but some people don't. Whew. All right, well, all the good ones are off the table now.
Nope.
I was hoping you'd leave me one of those 2. Yeah, that was good picks. Do I have to go with Thor?
It gets you Ragnarok, so automatically makes it.
Yeah, I actually like all the Thor movies. I just don't think that Thor... So the real question is it Captain America or is it Thor? And I like the Thor movies more than I like the Captain America movies, I think. Even though the third Captain America movie is basically an Avengers movie. I'm going to go with Thor, but it's close. I think a lot of people would go with Captain America here. Alright, cool. Yeah, I was having a discussion with Jim from the game store, and basically everything that we seem to, unilaterally agree on as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe goes, he disagrees with, but still likes it. And so it's weird. Like, he thinks that Guardians 2 is like the best of the Guardians trilogy. And everyone else I seem to talk to thinks it's the weakest of the three. And so it's just odd.
Good thing people like different shit.
No, it's just, I think these conversations are interesting. Because the reason people like stuff, as opposed to just saying, you don't like what I like, so you're wrong. Like, understanding what... Because it's really, he just wants something else out of a movie than what I want. So. All right, though. Are you ready to slam this thing into gear?
Is this a problem? Okay.
I just shot up some nitrous, so I'm ready to go.